Is this thing on? I know. I'm glad I did. So, what are three feelings you have about the results of the 2024 presidential election?
Three feelings I have about the election. I think the election in general, it's been around way before I was born. It's gonna be around way after I'm gone. So to say that I have a specific locked in here,
Okay.
I don't have that. So my
Yeah.
three feelings are one, I'm very disappointed in people that I know in their reactions to it,
Okay. In the reaction.
reactions and their feelings towards it.
Sure.
The second
On
thing
both sides.
is,
Would you say
yeah,
on both
oh
sides?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of friends that are very Trump,
Yeah.
friends that are very anti-Trump,
Sure.
and both sides are like screaming and hollering and this and that. Like,
Right.
why now? Why is it so important now? We're in a place where our age, we had the ability to vote for like at least three or four presidents,
Sure. Sure.
and it's never been as big of a deal as by today's standards. Granted, because social media is so hyped up,
Sure.
but again, it's very disappointing. I feel like it's very bandwagon.
Yeah.
It's like when the Seahawks are winning, everyone's a Seahawks. You know, not wrong.
Haven't.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong with that one.
Yeah.
It's very bandwagon.
That's right.
It is.
That's right.
The second thing is it's like putting the cart before the horse.
Say
Because to
that.
say that Trump is in office, he done so far. And he's
Right.
talking just like my friends are talking.
Right.
What has really changed? Nothing has changed yet. So you can't really, nobody was like, if you went in office and say every American gets $1 million cash, I guarantee a lot of people want to be like, nope, that's Trump money. I don't want it. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like they would
Yeah.
cash that check, no problem. So again, I have a lot of people that complain like when Obama was off, he's going to take our guns. I don't know. The whole time he was in office, he never knocked on my door to keep my guns, you know. But
Right.
that was such a thing. Like people hated him because it was going to be the gun issue. What really changed? You hillbillies kind of go and buy certain automatic whatever, blah blah blah. Like, so you went to the internet to buy it. Like, it didn't really change a lot.
Sure.
The third thing I feel about the election is, and again, in my opinion and what I've seen, I can't speak for the entire county, city, state, whatever, is people's lack of knowledge of everything, you know. And unless I'm super informed about all facets of it, I generally try not to talk about something I don't know. Because again, I think the quietest person is always going to be the smartest. But someone that could be like, well, I don't like Trump. Well, why not? Well, because he does this or does that. Da, 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 da. But again, looking at your society as a whole, you have most of the nation's wealth are often kids that do videos messing with people in public
Yeah.
or doing dumb things. We pay millions of dollars to go sit in a movie theater and watch these slapstick comedies, and we just think it's hilarious. Or we spend millions of dollars on lyrics that promote drugs or violence or, all these different things that, like, let's be real, you have Snoop Dogg. Came on the scene talking about drugs and murder. He was in a murder trial. He was a very known by all rights gang member.
Hmm.
Everything, every box to check that society is against, this man was about. But 90% of his followers are, you know, suburban white kids that can't give him money fast enough. Now
Right.
he's on TV with Martha Stewart. And, oh, it's so cute. It's funny because it's Snoop, this and that. When he built his career off of drugs, he built
Right.
his career of a violence. But now everyone's like, oh, we need to stop the violence. And then they jump in their car and they put Snoop Dogg. So where you guys set his goalposts? Where's the line of sand to say, like,
I hear you.
hey, this is bad? You guys want guns out of the houses. You guys want gang violence to stop and this and that. But what's music you're playing? What do you allow your kids listen to?
Breathe
What
out.
movies are you doing? Because if they make a movie about gangs and they make a movie about churches, people are going to go after the violence.
Yeah.
And that's what sells. And they don't make movies to entertain people. They make movies to make money. And
Right.
that's just the end of it. And I think the thing is a lot of people, for lack of intelligence or research, what you want to call it, because it's not like you couldn't do research on what Trump's platform was. It's like you couldn't
Right.
do research on what, everyone else's platforms were. It's just people automatically assume like, oh, this is blue, this is red, this is what I'm going to vote. Because this person's talking the loudest, or this is my boyfriend. It's what he says, or my girlfriend, what she says, my dad,
Absolutely.
like that's just what it was. I think it was just a lot of people just went for what was bright and shiny as to find out just of it. So for me, again, for my third of your question is like, it's really sad to think like, man, do you read? I have friends that will go on Amazon and read every single review before they buy something for $20. But man, they will vote for a president right now.
Right.
20 bucks, roll the dice. And you put the person leading your country, or like, again, you've been traveled. I've traveled this world. I
Yes.
you can't go to another country and post on, let's say your social media on your car, your front yard, like our president sucks. You get killed.
That's right.
But here, it's perfectly fine. Perfectly
Mm.
fine for us as a nation to say, like, our leadership sucks. How does it make us look as a unified nation? Man, it's just a bad look. Have an
And
opinion, that's fine. But I think when people say, like, oh, take away our freedoms, you can have freedoms by saying they take away your freedoms.
right. So a bit of what you're talking about is there's a like in our country specifically, there is a lack of alignment between our values, our needs, and how we interact with other people or fit into society,
Yeah,
right? And there's a lot of people who don't have those things aligned, right? And I, I would agree with that. It takes a certain type of person or not to have those things aligned, right? And either you are very clear about who you are and what you believe, and that is your practice in every forum, or you don't know who you are. You have some of those things that are mismatched. That's interesting.
all right.
So the next question is, what do you fear most about the Trump presidency?
What I fear the most is people giving up,
Say that.
and I think a lot of people, yeah, I guess that's just like the one blanket statement is that they're giving up in our society to say
Yeah.
that my vote doesn't matter. Or again, so many people saying, I'm fearful, I'm fearful, I'm fearful. If you've ever been scared, it's not a good place to be. A lot of people say, like, as a woman, it's fearful for our society and this and that. I get that. I get with women's rights and with the abortions, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like that whole like Adam and Eve, like Eve was the original sin. But if you continue the Bible there, it doesn't say like Eve bit the apple and God came in the scene. He says, Adam, who are you? It was his job
Right.
to protect her. He broke the original sin because he was supposed to protect her. So no one is looking at these men to say, who's getting them pregnant? Why
Right.
are these men laying down with these women? Why is this society we're so free to sleep with
Say that.
somebody? If I'm gonna sleep with this woman, it's because this is my mate, this is my person.
Right.
And if we do create a life, we're in a place to pay for this baby or walk them into the world. But the
Right.
thing is, no one's really putting the iron to these men that are hurting our women. No one's holding
Right.
these men accountable. Well,
Right.
like the women have to take the brunt for men's lack of being a man. And
Yeah.
that's something that's not really talked about. A lot of people are saying that it's like, I'm not fearful of the healthcare for women. I'm fearful that generation after generation, these guys are stepping up,
Right.
that they are really, the society is building a get out of jail free card for these men, that
Right.
no one is really held accountable for
They
nothing. It's just there's not a foundation at home of women are saying, "Oh, your dad ain't nothing," talking bad on whatever, and they're complaining there's no good guys out there. But they're not raising them. They're
right.
demasculating these young men from teenagers
Right.
to have to turn to the streets, and it's just a spiral. As
Right.
opposed to saying like, we're the uncles that are stepping up, whereas the neighbor that's stepping up, whereas the teacher that's stepping up to say you don't have to be like this, you don't have to be that way, you don't have to sleep around, you don't have to have multiple partners, because once that chain is broken, then again, abortion could be on the table or not on the table. It wouldn't be an issue.
Because people know better, right?
Exactly. You
And
know
they
better,
take
you do better.
responsibility for their choices, right?
Exactly.
That's an excellent point. So a little bit of what I heard is that society, whether or not the policy or the politics allows something or doesn't allow something, it's the society and the individual that needs to know better and needs to have those mechanisms of accountability and or responsibility. I absolutely agree with that. And it's interesting because the mechanisms for us to get to that place of, okay, this is what we should say is societally acceptable in this day and age. We just haven't exercised that really, in my opinion. And we
Yeah,
focus.
I think it's kind of like the farmer and his chickens thing. He wakes up, opens the gate, chickens go out, do the thing all day, comes out that evening, opens, they come back. I think as a society, this is something we've put out for so long. We put these video games out of violence, we closeting people, and then now it's coming back, and we're like, why is it this way? But we've
Yeah,
chopped down the importance of leadership, the importance of the presidency. That
sure.
if we really kept it to that gold standard, do you
Yeah,
think somebody like Trump would step up to that plate? Probably not.
right.
But the fact is, we chopped it down so much because people were so mad with Obama. And oh, it's such a joke, and it went downhill. Look at like, John F. Kennedy; like they idolized that man.
Right.
Even good or bad, you just see this decline of president after president going down and down because the people's voices got louder. Like you have the example like the Cosby Show. She was a lawyer, he was a doctor. By that means, the black family, a doctor's a prestigious thing.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they treat the dad like he was an idiot. The cartoons, they really demasculate men in their society that
Mhm.
it's a constant decline of how to respect them. So it's making this decline of how we're treating our men and
Mhm.
making this decline of the importance of something. Why are we mad at something we put out? Well, the farmer's not mad because the chickens come home. Why are we
Right.
mad that a society put hatred out there? We put fear out there. We put this out there constantly, constantly, constantly. And then now it's coming back and we're like, oh my God, what?
Well,
No, I don't feel safe.
that's right. Specifically speaking on men, the social justice movements of the last decade have essentially eroded the, pristine high value of men to the degree where in this election, there's almost a referendum on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, sure, we can make progress socially, but that's never going to be as important as what it takes to procreate the species and what it takes to live day to day in our society. So thank you for bringing that up. That's great. Okay. So, what do you hope most about the Trump presidency?
What I hope most of the Trump presidency is that people stop and take a breath and realize we're working home and that's going to build society. I think that a lot of people are are looking for a scapegoat, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it just say like everything's gonna fall apart because it's Trump's fault. Now I have an excuse not to be a good dad. I have an excuse not to work. I have an excuse not to do it it's because of Trump. I can be
Mhm.
racist because of Trump. I can be closeted because of Trump. They
Right.
they just want the scapegoat. So what I
Right.
want to see is it doesn't matter because when Bush was in
Right.
office, I was doing what I'm doing.
Right.
When Clinton was in office, I was doing what I was doing. When Obama was, I was still doing what I was doing. So again, yes, there are some factors that affect me because of my tax bracket for sure.
Sure.
But is that going to affect how I treat you? No.
Right.
Is that going to affect who I break bread with? No. Do I pay a lot more in taxes? Yeah, I do. But me as a person making the seven-figure range, like, yeah, I hide it in art. I move it around. It's like
Sure.
again,
Sure.
and
Absolutely.
I can't spend it.
Yeah.
So am I really seeing a piece of paper that I get or email that I get? This is what you're paid. This is what we deducted. This is what you have. Like
Right.
I didn't really saw the first base. What do I really took out 40%? Not
Absolutely.
that big of a deal to me. It really isn't.
The next question: what do you believe about the people who voted opposite of you?
Like, could you rephrase that a little bit or
Yeah, so the purpose of this question is not to it's just reactionary. Right? It's not meant to create division. It's not meant to absolve somebody of their beliefs of somebody else. It's not meant to affirm somebody else's beliefs. It's just how do you feel right now about the people who voted opposite of you? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I guess for me, how I feel about the ones that are say, again, I didn't vote for Trump. I
Mhm.
have a lot of people that I call close brothers that did vote for Trump. See why they would. But again, it's a lot of old thinking. And we definitely at my table, everyone has a voice, everyone can speak freely. And we definitely have the jokes like you get mad because women drive. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
sure.
Like, it's just,
Mhm, mhm.
and again, like I said, I mean, I'm not like over the top informed, but I'm not like clueless either. And I think with some of the guys that I know that voted for Trump is again, they kind of like what I see is the smoke and mirrors of social media.
Sure.
Say like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." And these guys like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring gas down to $1 a gallon or whatever," you know. Everyone,
Not gonna
like,
lie. Not gonna lie.
yeah, and again, like I said, it's one of those things that like it's people believe more what Facebook tells them than they believe what's around them. And there's that whole thing that like if there's on the internet, it must be true. That kind of a lot of people believe that.
Well,
They really do.
so because I know you and I know you are the pull of left and right is not actually the important thing, like in life. Like you know that, I know that, whatever. So is it fair to say that maybe your opinion is not necessarily just Trump voters, because that's where you voted, but anybody who has those extreme views of this is how it was going to go or this is how it's going to go without some of those things about their internal value or their honesty with themselves and others and or even doing the research to know the issues, right? Because you said earlier the extremes on both sides spouting the talking lines, and it's like, have you done your own research? Are your values and how you live aligned with what you're saying? And you don't see that as evident with everybody, people on the Trump side and people not on the Trump side.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and this is the thing for me is a lot of people ask because of my spirituality, like, well, how do you feel about Muslims? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? What I look at is like my mom. She's 85 years old. Still goes a Safeway, and when she comes home, she'll tell me, "Oh, this nice man helped put a watermelon in my car, or put my bags in my car, and whatever, held the door for me."
Right.
If that man that helped her is Muslim, like, yeah, oh, that's great. I look at it as whatever makes you a better person.
Yes. Okay.
Everyone has a place on my table. And if voting for Trump or being like so hardcore about it, but you still treat
Yeah.
a woman as a woman and you let a man be a man and
That.
you take care of your kids and your family, whatever, by all means, if that makes you a better person, that's great. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean, but I think that's the line of the sand is a lot of people think you have to vote this way, you have to feel this way. And there's something that, like I said earlier, if I don't know and I don't talk about it, I will never be a white female in America. I will never be in a doctor's office trying to get an abortion because I'm pregnant for whatever reason. It
Sure.
just won't happen. So how is it fair for me to say this is how things should be? Or even to not say this how things, for me to even say it, both say I understand. Because again, average American white housewife doesn't understand my struggles. So
Right.
your bumper sticker is doing nothing for me.
Right.
Until I can take care of me,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter how you vote because I got work to do. And
Right.
I need to get sure I'm in a good place. So if I'm like, oh, well, Lutz voted this way, so I feel good about myself. Doesn't matter how Lewis voted. It better go. Not even how I vote, who I am. And if that makes me a good dude or good dad or good, I'm a grandpa. I'm a son. I'm an uncle. I'm a friend. If I can't be good at that, it doesn't matter what's around me. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people skate right past. Because again, some people they feel like they read all of Trump's literature and they feel informed. They feel like this is America. Like if they're proud of it, by all means.
Right.
I know people like use a term like that's the hill I want to die on. And I know people that have served their country proudly because of what their president had to say. And because of that, they have a GI Bill or their kids benefit or they feel, they did their due diligence, so to speak. Great. You know, and again, like I said, it goes to my original point is we as a people have to focus on me and then we can be better. I'm not good for me. I ain't gonna be good for you.
That's right.
And that's something that a lot of people are so focused on. Well, what do you got going on over there? Not what I got going on here.
Right.
Not the grass is always greener. It's a matter of like, hey, if I'm a good dude, I'm gonna be better for you
That's right.
because I'm better for me. But it doesn't matter how you vote. Because again, like I said, I have friends that have voted both ways and we could poke fun, but at the end of the day, if I'm just on the side of the road, I'm like, don't help me out because you voted for Trump.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you do believe that, then you're missing out on the help that is in front of you. So, what is the worst thing about society to you?
The worst thing about society is, shoot, man, accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you believe is one of the reasons that Trump and the largely Republican Congress was elected?
Better social media presence.
Okay, okay, good point. Do you feel like you did enough to affect the election in the way you wanted to see it go?
Mm, I think I fall back under I gotta take care of my home. So not to say that like how I take care of my area affecting the election.
Mm,
The election greatly affects my career. That's for
mm.
sure. Will that affect how I maintain my home? In some ways it will, in some ways it won't.
You don't think it mostly will affect your home?
Well, I mean, again, it will in the sense of like, I guess unlike a lot of people, I have multiple incomes.
Right, right,
So with the presidency change things around, it's going to affect
I
how
hear you.
trades run. So if
Right,
that was my only source of income,
right.
yeah, it would definitely affect me.
I see you.
If
I see
that
you.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And that goes to show that you, with your everything that's great about you, Lee, that you've created some resilience in these situations because you have multiple screens and you manage your money appropriately and all the things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you want to say to the version of yourself in 4 years?
Version of myself in 4 years.
What do you want to say to yourself in 4 years?
You just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep it up. And again, like I said, it's one of those things that like a fearful message can be put out there, but a positive one can be as well.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing is like helping others find their kryptonite
Yeah.
because that's something that's just not talked about. And it's just like to sit with a man to man and say like, "Are you happy? Are you scared? Or what's going on? What could I do to promote you?" And again, I think that's something that our society just isn't talking about. There's no way that I can sit with my rose and say, "Hey, man, like I'm scared," you
Right.
know. And sometimes, as a human being, just wake up scared. You wake up sad. That's
Yeah.
okay. If we didn't have those dark notes, those happiness wouldn't mean as much as they do.
That's right.
But I think the thing is like when people use words like closeted, they think, okay, well, someone's like, transgender, different. Like you can be a straight male and still be closeted in a lot of ways.
Right.
That's something that really isn't talked about. Like no one ever talks about like, well, I guess like it's a pretty valid point. So I think that as a society, like understand what fear is, understand that people are human beings. And I think don't make something a cause that's not yours. Like I'm not going to get worked up over something that has nothing to do with me. And that I think that's something that people do it for
Yeah.
the likes on Facebook or they do it for the likes on whatever. Like again, I'll never be average suburban white housewife. So why are you trying to wear my shoes? Let me do me. I need to take care of without helping my cause.
Yeah, that is interesting because a lot of what you're saying is like it starts at home, it starts with you. I hear that. All right. Well, okay. Lee, thank you so much for your wisdom and just for being you and all the things that you do. And in conclusion, we are all different, but we are also all the same. What matters is we recognize that and move forward to make a better world for all of us. So, thanks again for being
Yes.
there.
Oh man, it's been an honor. It's a pleasure.